BS Show, Season 3, Episode 23. Sean Gankars with Justin Chasmer and Adam Tyne, as always. And boys, we always know it goes quick, but it really went quick. We are coming into the final game of the season. It is Super Bowl week in the NFL. And for the first time ever, we got a home team playing in their home stadium here. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 3-point dogs to the Chiefs, over under 55.5. We will obviously get deep into this game, but first things first, boys, like I said, we're at the end. How are we feeling about the season and going into this?
Yeah, Gank. I mean, couple things. We almost had an hour pre-show, so that's when you know it's a lot to discuss. All over.
That's true.
Chazzy's watching some classic movies. It's good stuff all around. But we are the thing I got to say for the NFL, give them credit, is how the season actually panned out for the most part, as well as it could have, all things considered. And not to mention, you cap it off with Patrick Mahomes against Tom Brady, the GOAT against maybe the only guy ever that has a chance to catch him if possible. So, I'm really excited for it. I think this is one of the best Super Bowl matchups in recent history, if not, best quarterback matchup ever. And I'm hyped for it.
Yeah, obviously as a football fan, it's a great matchup. Obviously, we'd all like to see our teams in this game. But once those dreams died, the next best thing is you get the best quarterback ever against, like AT said, the up and coming closest thing we might see to Tom Brady. And obviously the home field advantage, first time ever, plays into it. Brady going to the NFC, making the Super Bowl first year, where there was no camp. I mean, there's storylines all over the place. I'm excited for the game, and I think it's going to be a very, very good football game.
Yeah, well, I like to see my team just get back to the playoffs, and then I'll worry about a Super Bowl appearance.
I'd like to see my team not pass up Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson for Mitch Trubisky. So that's a whole nother ball game too.
I like to see your team catch the ball in the playoffs sometimes too, because plus 10.5 should have fucking covered that game. With that said, we do have other things. Big pre-show. Chaz, you're a movie guy now.
Huge movie guy.
Huge movie guy.
Maybe the biggest on the East Coast.
That is big stuff. I mean, it has taken years to get Chaz to watch movies, but hey, he's got a list under his belt. He's finally cultured a bit. We've seen The Departed. We've seen Goodfellas, and we just love the effort to keep him going with that. But hopefully you can start talking movie, and then, hey, maybe we'll get a little movie podcast in the off season for it. But in the meantime, like I said, we do have another week of football still, and we still have, the Super Bowl still to go, but it's football. It don't stop. We've even seen part of it all season already. And let's start with the big move so far that's happened. And that is most recently with the Rams and Lions. Jared Goff now, member of Detroit Lions, and the Rams get their guy in Matt Stafford. And I think everybody kind of has a similar reaction to this trade. Me personally being one of them, I look at this trade as kind of a win-win for both teams. Obviously, the Lions were not moving on with Stafford. They came out, said that they were going to move on from him. They were going to look to their future. They plan on parting their ways from him, and they did. And, they got the right pieces in return. They got couple first-round draft picks to work with. You got Jared Goff, who, me personally, I'm not a big fan of Jared Goff. Jared Goff has made it to the Super Bowl before, and he's not nothing. At least you got something to maybe start to work with, and maybe it works out for them with that new team, new coach there. But worst comes to worst, you still got a couple first-round picks to build. And then you look at the Rams, and they get their guy, Matt Stafford, who is possibly the guy to take this team over the top. We watch the Rams have one of the best, if not arguably, probably the best defense in football this year. You got all those weapons on offense. We've seen those weapons excel. I mean, they were great the 1 year Goff actually played well, and they got to the Super Bowl. And Matt Stafford, I think, has played well enough and could do well enough in this offense with those weapons to take them over the top. I think it's a win for both teams in the trade. I think the Rams are a true threat next year, but I know, Chaz, your guys' thoughts on this one.
Yeah, let me start off, guys, with a trivia question. Who has more Pro Bowls, Mitch Trubisky or Matt Stafford?
It's probably Mitch Trubisky. I know Mitch has at least one.
They are tied, one apiece. That being said, I listen. I think Matt Stafford's got a bad gig in Detroit. I thought he played really well. Also, one of the years he threw for 5,000 yards and didn't make the Pro Bowl, so obviously doesn't matter that much, the Pro Bowls. But I will say this: I don't know if Stafford will produce much better than Goff did a couple of years ago, which got them to the deep in the playoffs and to the Super Bowl. But it does show one thing, that if you're the quarterback and you don't produce, you get shipped out. I mean, they literally gave this guy one of the biggest contracts in NFL history 2 years ago. He hasn't played good enough up to the contract, and they shipped him out. I mean, I think I saw something. They ended up giving up like 9 picks for the guy. They traded away 2 first-rounders. They traded like 5 picks to get him and trade up. But, I think the problem with Jared Goff is his body language. As a quarterback, that's so important. And he's not a guy you want to rally around. You know what I mean? And people talk about bad fit in McVay's system because he's not mobile, which I get too. But I don't know. I like the deal for the Rams. I agree. I think it's a really good deal for the Lions because you're not downgrading much at QB and you're getting 2 first-round picks. But, now they really got to put their faith in Matt Stafford, who I think can make a play. But, I don't know if the difference in production will be that much of a deal, a difference between Jared Goff and Matt Stafford. But Matt Stafford's a much more tough, guy to rally around. And we'll see. I mean, the Rams are a good team, and you can argue that they're quarterback away. So hopefully Matt Stafford gets the job done for him.
Yeah, it's funny you said about like not producing. You look a few years ago, and Goff and Wentz got drafted, the first 2 quarterbacks in the draft, and now fast forward to right now, Goff's traded, Wentz is on the bench, both after huge extensions. And but I think this trade is kind of a win-win, both sides too. I know, me and Gang talked about it already before, but I think it's a sign that obviously the Rams are all in right now. I think they know that with this defense and with the contract they gave to Jalen Ramsey, the contract they gave to Aaron Donald, they have a defense that can win a Super Bowl. And they don't think Jared Goff could get them over that hump in the NFC. We saw what Stafford could do with limited talent in Detroit, and he makes plays with his arm. You talk about quarterbacks that can bring you back with his arm. Matthew Stafford is that guy. And you look at their weapons, they got Higbee, Everett, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. Now they have Cam Akers emerging. So they have weapons all on that offense. You give Stafford some help. I mean, we saw what the stats were with 100-yard rushers with the Lions, top 10 defenses. You put all that together for Matthew Stafford, I think he is going to have a really good year this obviously upcoming year. And I think it's going to spark a little fire under him. Like, now I have a legit shot of winning a Super Bowl now. And when he was in Detroit, I can't imagine he really ever thought that. As for the Lions, I think obviously they're stacking picks. They have Jared Goff. I think it's a fresh start for him. And if it doesn't work out, maybe they trade him and get other picks. That's a possibility. But I think for Goff too, I don't think he was a great fit in LA. I think, going to Detroit, they're not going to be expected to do much. So you never know. Change of scenery for a guy with, who was a top pick in the draft. We never know what could happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And funny thing about Wentz and Goff too, I mean, Wentz had a team that go to the Super Bowl. He just unfortunately was hurt, and Goff took his team to the Super Bowl. 2 guys picked 1 and 2 not too long ago, and 2 guys that could both be out of a job by the middle of next season also.
I'm bigger on Goff, I think, than most people. I feel like, Yank, like you said, you're not, but I think that dude's an above average quarterback in the NFL, and he can sling it. I don't know what went on in LA. It seemed to me like him and McVay just weren't seeing eye to eye. And that was the reason for it, because yes, his production dipped, but I mean, they just made it to the divisional round and lost to a really good Packers team. So maybe he just didn't think he could win the Super Bowl with Jared Goff.
Yeah. And I mean, the defense helps, but like I said, I think Matt Stafford, who is another guy that I probably have not been fair to my whole life. Honestly, I'm still not super big on Matt Stafford, but I did think Matt Stafford's good, and I think it's a huge upgrade for Jared Goff. And the way that Rams team is built, I actually think Stafford is almost as ideal of a fit as you could get. Perfect landing spot for him. That thought never even crossed my mind of him going there. I kind of thought the Rams were ready to just stick with Goff for at least another year or so. Like you said, Adam, they did make the divisional round. I thought they would run with him for a bit, but I think you're still kind of keeping your same team out there, giving up picks on your quarterback, but I think you got the better piece at quarterback to take you over the top, and he kind of has to do it because the Rams are all in on it now.
Yeah, and they even said that Stafford was pretty much almost traded to the Panthers. Like medical paperwork was sent over and everything. And then the Rams came in late and added more picks. So I think that just shows like they're 100% all in for these next 2, 3, 4 years, however long those contracts are for those defensive guys, to finally win a Super Bowl, because obviously their picks are limited.
I'm so glad Matt Stafford's not on the Panthers.
I know.
That wouldn't have worked.
No,
That wouldn't have worked.
I like this fit much more.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had a no trade clause, but I know that they like worked together, the Lions and Stafford, to find him a spot. But yeah, that would have just been horrible for him. I mean, it would have been the exact same thing he's been in for the past fucking 5 years.
Yeah,
I
same with
mean,
the contender.
to be honest, you get a slightly better defense with, if anything, less weapons. Yeah, you have McCaffrey, but that's about it. I mean, Detroit, you got a Marvin Jones, a Galladay to throw to. That what's face tight end hasn't been too bad, especially this year. Kerryon kind of fell off after a good rookie season, but
You were big on him.
I was actually never big on Kerryon. Kerryon fell into my lap round 15 his rookie year. And because he played so well, he was just too good of a value of a keeper not to take. Honestly, I never was thrilled about him as my keeper, but a guy that was projected third round that I had at 15, I can't pass on.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, how long is the Rams like window? You got to think a year or two. I mean,
I
Stafford,
think they got 2 years.
right?
I think they have to do it this year or next year.
I think it's whatever the contracts are, honestly, of Ramsey and Donald.
Yeah.
They'll probably match up, and it's probably similar to what Stafford has. And once that defense falls apart, obviously they're not going to be that good.
Yeah.
That's when the window ends. And like I said, I imagine there's at least 2 years there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you go that all in for 1 year.
I would say 3. I'm going to give them a 3-year window.
Did you see that they haven't had a draft pick or won't have one from like 2016 to like 2023 or something?
23,
Yeah. Their last first round draft pick was Jared Goff. For 7 years, the only first round draft pick the Rams will have, unless they trade back into it, will be Jared Goff.
That's
Oh,
right.
God, that's the guy that is no longer on the team.
Yeah.
But
if you can turn that somehow into Matt Stafford in the Super Bowl, which is possible, then good for fucking them. I mean,
no doubt, dude. It's I give their GM credit, man. The guy took a shot. He doesn't care.
I would give them a ton of credit because I think it would be absolutely incredible if you could get a Super Bowl and have 1 first round pick in 7 years.
Yep.
That's some type of talent.
Wow. Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah. All right, but elsewhere in football too, another thing I want to talk about, like we said pre-show, this could be a big quarterback all season. Let's talk to the next big name that's out there, and that's Deshaun Watson. Clearly not happy in Houston. What's going on there? Very understandable. Once out, you guys are a GM of Houston or of any team. Where do you think is the best landing spot for Houston? And like I said, if you're involved in a Deshaun Watson trade, which 2 teams do you think can work out the best deal that help each other out in a trade like this?
Yeah, I mean, listen, of course, I would love nothing more than to see Deshaun Watson go to the Bears, but they just don't have the capital to get him, I don't think. But my big thing with Deshaun Watson is he has a lot more leverage than I think the next kind of guy that would try to get a trade, because he's kind of come out and said he's not playing. He's willing to sit out if that's the case, and give him credit. They've talked about the Jets, but I don't think the Jets really are much different than Houston this year. Maybe in the future they will be, but I've seen that. But I like the Niners. I don't love like the scheme fit necessarily, but the Niners have the talent and the picks to go get him. And I think if they do, that would be very dangerous for the rest of the NFC.
Yeah, I think the easy team here would be the Jets, because everyone's kind of assuming that But I think
Yeah.
Robert Saleh has kind of came out, and I don't know if it's just for show, but he kind of seems like he's going to roll with Sam Darnold next year. One team, and we talked about at the end of this year, was a team that's maybe a quarterback away with good offensive young weapons, is the Denver Broncos. I think if Watson goes there, and they've been known for their defense over the last few years, but they have a lot of young talent. And I think if Deshaun Watson could go there, because we've seen the last few years, Denver has just been a quarterback shit show since Peyton left. So I think if you get, because I don't think any of us agree that Drew Lock is the future there. So I think if you kind of accept that and kind of go get a guy like Deshaun Watson, where there's not many opportunities to make a trade for someone like this, put him with that young talent, I think the Denver Broncos could turn around pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, Jets obviously obvious. I think the more obvious, obviously, Miami, huge suitors for Watson. I mean, when you have 2 first-round picks and a young quarterback in Tua that you could swap for him, that's obviously a trade that I think could work out both ways. The thing I don't love about Miami is once they do that, I don't know what type of weapons are really around Deshaun there that I'm too crazy about. Chaz, I'm actually going to go in the same division as you, and I kind of seen a little rumor today about something, and I like the thought of it, and that's actually Deshaun Watson going to Oakland. Oakland kind of sending Derek Carr and their handful of first-round picks. I'm sure it have to be involved back to them, but then you bring him to this Oakland team that has a defense that's kind of up and coming. Obviously, it's been pretty bad, but there is some young talent on that defense. I think they could gel together over the next couple of years, and then you're giving Deshaun Watson a Josh Jacobs and a Henry Ruggs and a few more weapons on offense. I think it's a pretty good fit for him. I obviously don't know if that'll be the case, but we've seen a lot of good things from Vegas this past year. I know I obviously missed the playoffs, but I think they kind of won more games than most people expected, and they almost seem like a Deshaun Watson like that can get them over the top. Texans are still getting an experienced Derek Carr in return. They could land that trade. And like we said, I mean, we saw Matt Stafford went for. Obviously, there'll be a bunch of first-round picks involved in the Deshaun Watson trade too. So Derek Carr and other pieces to build, I think, is kind of a win-win for both. And like I said, I seen the rumor earlier, and it is one destination I actually think I would love to see Deshaun Watson at, because I think it would be fun to watch in an Oakland offense.
Yeah, and I mean, you gotta imagine from the Texans standpoint, the GM does not want to be the guy that trades Deshaun Watson. But I truly do think Deshaun Watson is done playing there. I don't think he will ever play there again or be willing to. But I mean, if Goff with the 2 first-round picks, I can't imagine we got to go up to get Deshaun.
I mean, yeah, it's got to be 3, 4 first rounders. I mean, yeah, I think. Obviously, the GM, when he had his press conference, the first thing he said was, "I'm not trading Deshaun Watson." Like, obviously, he doesn't want to, but I think, when you have a quarterback that simply doesn't want to play for you, Deshaun Watson switched his Twitter profile. It doesn't even say Texans anymore. It says, "For football inquiries, please email," and his agents there. Like, he's done. I just hope he goes to a team that he can have a shot at the playoffs, because, we saw it last year in the playoff game against the Bills. Like, put him in the spotlight. He's going to perform. It's fun to watch.
That guy knows how to win games. We all learned that, obviously, watching him at Clemson, and then comes out and finds a way to still do it. But it's at a point where I don't want to blame him for getting out of that Houston organization. It definitely seems like it's been a mess there, and I think it's for the better for him, for everyone to move on. Houston needs to hit a full-out reset button, but kind of don't even have the pieces to do it.
Yeah, David Johnson.
For D-Hop, straight up.
That's we got Brandon Cooks too, I guess.
That's true.
All right. All right, boys, let's get into the big one. Like I said, Super Bowl 55 coming this Sunday. First time ever a team playing in their own stadium here, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like I said earlier, Chiefs 3-point favorites. Over under is 55.5. And to be honest, I look at this game as a gambler, and a lot of things scare me. My big thing is, you listen to the show, I know, we all know here. I've been on the Chiefs since August. Preseason Super Bowl winner for me. A lot of people preseason Super Bowl winner as long as Pat Mahomes is there. Probably 80% of the times we do this show, I'll probably pick the Chiefs to be the preseason Super Bowl winner. And I'm honestly not going to sell out at this point. I'm going to pick the Chiefs to win this game. I'll pick them to cover the -3 too. I kind of could see a push or something, but if I'm being completely honest, this game kind of scares the shit out of me. Tampa Bay's defense is slowly been making a turn at the right time, kind of heating up at the right time. Tom Brady has still been doing Tom Brady things, especially in the postseason. Did have a rough second half against Green Bay, tried to do everything to let that team back in that game, but when it's all said and done, defense is still playing well. He prevailed. He's still in this Super Bowl. I would have thought preseason, once the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl, I'd be saying with a lot more confidence that they would be winning this game, especially against a Tampa Bay team that I thought was maybe going to make the playoffs at best. I didn't even have them winning a playoff game preseason, but they have obviously been proving me wrong, especially this past month in the postseason. But like I said, I'm not selling out on the Chiefs. I'm going to pick them to win. I would not touch the spread as a gambler. It scares the shit out of me. What I do expect to see is a lot of points. It's been brought up pre-show. You got the GOAT and Tom Brady, and then we got the next GOAT and Pat Mahomes coming in. I keep saying, too, I think that baton was passed last year once the Chiefs finally beat Brady and the Patriots. Brady got one against Mahomes. Still Mahomes' only playoff loss in his career to this day. But I think it's been handed off. I think it's Mahomes' league now, and they stick with him to get the job done. I think he beats him in the Super Bowl. It'd really be more of an official handoff. But I do think both teams score points. I think it's going to be a real fun game to watch. So I do like the over at 55.5. I mean, we've watched it open up at 57.5, drop to 57, linger at 56.5 for most of the times I've seen it until literally just now when we do this show. And pre-show, I've seen it drop down at 55.5. So now I really like it. But give me the Chiefs. Fun football game, boys. One last time, 35-31.
I like it, man. It is it's a scary game. I completely agree. Picking against Tom Brady in a big game is never smart. But I just think the Chiefs, the storyline to this, I look at after the game. Tom Brady wins, it's 7 championships to 1. That pretty much solidifies it. I think Mahomes knows that if he needs to win this game to keep that GOAT debate alive, I know all we do is talk about this kind of stuff, but it's the truth. And Mahomes, I actually like the Bucs to cover the 3 points, but I like the Chiefs to win. My big thing being you got former Giant great coordinator Steve Spagnuolo on the other side, 3-2 against Brady.
Guy knows how to win Super Bowls against Brady.
I am an absolute believer that he can get the job done, knows how to get the job done. I think Andy Reid with 2 weeks is very, very scary. And I still don't buy the Bucs defense. Yes, they're opportunistic and get turnovers, but you can move the ball against them. Mahomes isn't going to turn the ball over 4 times or 3 or 4 times like the Packers ended up doing. I don't think the Chiefs will. And I watched this game in the regular season, and I thought that they got significantly out-schemed. They tried to single coverage Tyreek Hill. I hope it doesn't happen again. But who knows? And I'm just not buying the Bucs defense to make a play to stop Pat Mahomes. And I think that he gets a late score to win it. But I will go 31-30 Kansas City. Tampa Bay covers.
All right, we're all gonna be different. I'm gonna take the Bucs to win here. And honestly,
Brady gets number 7, Chazzy. I love it.
Yep.
He gets
honestly, I mean, betting against Brady is something that doesn't usually work out for you. I did it the 1 year against the Eagles, and I was sick to my stomach literally watching the whole game, like thinking to myself, why did I just put money against Tom Brady? It worked out that day, but I don't know. This game, obviously no one expected Brady to be here in the first year with the Bucs, and obviously the home playoff game, and it's Brady, Mahomes, there's all the storylines. But I think the biggest thing is the defense that we talked about, I feel like every single week. We bought them, that we didn't buy them, that we bought them, that we didn't buy them. they're playing well. And me and Gang talked about it before, like their corners are playing very well right now. And when you have a playmaker like Devin White in the middle of that field, who is an absolute beast, who it says he's probably going to be manned up against Travis Kelce, like that's going to be an amazing matchup to watch. And if there's someone that can slow down Travis Kelce, it might be Devin White. So I think the Bucs defense can, obviously not going to shut down the Chiefs offense. I think they could slow them down a little bit. And this Bucs team in the playoffs, they put up 30 points at least every, I think it was 30, 31, and 30. So they're scoring points. Chiefs don't have Eric Fisher, who is a massive loss for that offensive line, especially when you have Shaquille Barrett and JPP and Sue coming at you. So I don't know. Something just tells me that Brady gets one more. And I mean, it's not a knock to the Chiefs. Obviously, Mahomes is going to be a problem for years to come. It's going to be a fun game, but I'll take the vet here. I'll take Brady and the Bucs to win 30-28.
All similar scores.
Yeah, very. I mean, the Bucs real. I think the Bucs can win too.
No,
I just refuse to sell out, but
I wouldn't sell it if I was you, Guy. But
yeah, it is. It's tough.
I will say, Chaz, the biggest scary part for me is the Chiefs' offensive line, because they are down both their starting tackles, or no, at least I think both.
Eric Fisher tore his Achilles, so he's out. The other one, the other one's questionable.
Yeah, and like boy gang. That's what scares me, because Mahomes gets out of pressure and stuff, but the Bucs D line looked good all postseason. It has, and that's a great point. I didn't even think about the Devin White Travis Kelce matchup. They talk about Kelce being the only guy that can't get covered one-on-one, so we'll see, huh?
And the one thing, go ahead, gang.
There's a lot of talk about Travis Kelce in that first game when these two teams met. Obviously comes out over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, but I mean, a lot of that was first quarter. Defense cracked down for Tampa Bay the rest of that game, and hell, Tampa Bay even almost found a way to fucking win that game.
They covered.
So, yeah, they found a way to cover, and I've seen enough from the Tampa Bay defense in that one. Like I said, I've seen enough to know there's a chance they could get exposed, and I've seen enough to know that they can slow down this Chiefs defense. And Tyreek Hill, I mean, he had that huge first quarter, but other than that, the rest of that game was really a whole lot of nothing for the Chiefs. They're just lucky to jump out to the lead as big as they did. And
the huge thing last week too is Vita Vea coming back in the middle. Like
the guy's so good.
The Packers ran Aaron Jones had 27 yards. Jamal Williams had 20 yards. They couldn't run the football. And not that the Chiefs are a run first team. I'm not saying that, but you look at last year's Super Bowl, they ran the ball really well, and that obviously helped them to win the Super Bowl. It takes pressure off Mahomes, and if they can't run the ball, I mean, it's the Chiefs, so you can tell the Bucs they're going to throw it. Mahomes still probably going to complete the pass, but I think that presence up the middle against the run is going to be big.
I think that's very key. Justin Vita Vea he's a guy that I remember he was on the draft board not too long ago or whenever it was, but I know he was a guy that was high on my list for a Giant, and well, he's honestly not a Giant. I wasn't happy.
Giants D-line. I don't know if they draft D-line too well, gang, if I had to guess.
They did once upon a time. They won in Super Bowls. I mean, they drafted Tuck, they drafted OC, and then they drafted JPP. And
I was going to say JPP.
They used to draft it better than anyone, but the past 6-7 years, they take 1 or 2 D linemen a year, and it doesn't work too well. Dexter Lawrence has finally been somewhat decent. That's probably the only okay one. And I mean, Leonard Williams wasn't drafted. He just sucked with the Jets, and the Giants found a way to get the best out of him at least. Yeah. But yeah, they literally went from one of the best to the worst when it comes to drafting defensive linemen.
You know what's so crazy? The Bucs roster, to be fair, I don't know if it gets the credit it deserves. And even me as well. I have shit on their defense the past month and a half, and they've played decently well. But they are stacked on every level of every position. like their whole D line, maybe their secondary, you could argue isn't fantastic, but it's playing pretty well. But like their D line, their linebackers, they got Levante David too. That guy is like unbelievable.
Yeah. Their defense, I thought last year was low key one of the most underrated things in football because the numbers didn't show for it. They were playing well, and they really started playing well at the end of the season to the point where I was getting the feeling I was like, their defense can be like really good this year. And, I'm thinking this, with Jameis at quarterback still, when I was just watching them last year, I'm like, defense kind of turning around. But then you add these pieces and you add Brady. Then, like you said, Adam, I think most of the season, the defense really wasn't, anything above and beyond. There's, you watch games, they've had a couple of games, the Saints murdered them a couple of times. Like we've seen teams score points against this Buccaneers defense, but right now I feel like this defense has been getting hot at the right time. And I don't know, that usually goes well in Super Bowls. And the one time I could think different is I thought they really care for them that much that year, but the Falcons defense was getting hot at the right time, it seemed like, too, before they blew it to the Pats in that one. But
yeah, and the thing with the Bucks defense all year is like you knew you couldn't run the ball on them, but teams were able to pass, like throw the football on them and move the ball and score points that way. But it's like what I said and what we've all just talked about is the secondary is playing very well. They're young and they're playing the best football they've played all year. So if they got one more game in them, I think they win this thing.
Yeah, I know.
Crazy Tampa's going to go. Florida, no restrictions, from COVID. If Tampa wins this Super Bowl in Tampa, I mean, RIP to Tampa.
I'll go to Florida just to get out of anything that's no restrictions.
Yeah. Because they'll have them, the Lightning who won it. They'll have the Heat who made I know it's Miami, but like Florida sports this year is just having a crazy year.
Who's the corner that shut down Michael Thomas in the divisional round?
Sean Murphy-Bunting.
Murphy-Bunting happened?
Yeah.
The guy has been unbelievable all fucking postseason.
Yeah. And then you have Carlton Davis on the other side who's playing well too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the GM drafted Devin White and then Murphy-Bunting, second round. I mean, that's
a draft.
Talk about a draft that's paying off immediately.
I mean, it's like you draft well in games. It's like crazy like that,
Devin White.
Guys, Devin White's so good. So good. All right. Well, as always, we all know the Super Bowl. I'm sure I could confidently say, without a doubt, probably the most bet game in sports or anything every year in and year out. So, as always, you can bet anything, that's everything in this game. So we are going to do locks again for this one. Honestly, minimum one each. It's me first this week. Chaz, you will be second, and then you, Adam. I have two picks I'm coming from the Super Bowl. Like I said, let's have one more fun game. So my two picks are going to be fun. We're going to start with the over at 55.5. Like I said, we were just talking about this Buccaneers defense, giving them all this credit and this and that. But when it's all said and done, it's Mahomes versus Brady. Both these guys know how to score. I think they're going to figure out a way to score, and things to turn to a fun little dogfight where these two could trade punches. Like we said, we're talking about the best quarterback ever and passing a baton on to possibly the next best quarterback ever. So I think these two want to trade punches one last time. And with that said, I'm going to take over 799.5 total yards in this game between the two teams combined. I think the winning team itself is going to need over 400 yards just to win the game. I'm very confident the losing team will still have a minimum of 350. So that's 799.5 number seems like a fun number just to bet in a game like this for, like I said, Super Bowl minus 110 value, I believe, all around on both of those. So same risk, same reward as you're usually getting.
All right. Gank, it's funny that you just did that because I'm taking the one teams over. I'm going to take the Bucks over 370.5 net total.
There it is.
I can't believe you did it. Like you said, I think both these, over 799 I like too. And I think the Bucks win, so I think they get to that 400 number.
What was the exact number again on them?
370.5.
Okay.
And then my second one, I'm going to run it back from the NFC Championship. Gronk anytime tutty plus 220 for my same reason. I mean, Gronk and Brady linking up in the Super Bowl one more time. It just sounds right.
So, boys, we're going to keep the yards going, baby, because I love Tom Brady's overpassing yards at 296.5. I cannot imagine he throws for under 300 yards in this game. I just don't see it. The Chiefs defense, I think, will play pretty decent in the red zone, but the Bucs are going to move the ball. They scored 30 points, like you said, Chaz. I love that one. And not too sexy of a pick here, but I am going to lock the game to end in a QB kneel.
Let's go.
I need a number on that value.
I just had it. Hold on. It's like minus. Where'd it go? Let's see. Last play is a QB kneel minus 180.
That is just. That's exhilarating stuff.
I can't even remember the last time it did. I mean, it had to be like early 2000s with military field goals. Be the last time it didn't end in the kneels. So we'll see.
Ravens one didn't.
Oh, it didn't?
No, it was a punt.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't think the Giants Patriots round 2 did.
It was a Hail Mary. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, to Gronk.
Yeah.
It's a Gronk.
I just tried to think if that was the last play of the game, which I think it was, because I think in 07, the Patriots had like very little time. The Giants got the ball back with like 8 seconds left to take like a kneel in a situation like that.
The Eagles Patriots, that wasn't a kneel either. That was a Hail Mary.
They're Hail Mary. Pat's just kicking field goals for fucking Hail Marys for Super Bowls.
We'll see.
Oh, man. All right. Obviously, not going to throw this in a lock, but this is one bet I'm always curious with. Might end up throwing a couple here, but this one I think's very curious. Now, like I said, when you watch Super Bowls, obviously Super Bowl MVP is something you could bet. We picked our winners, Josh with the Bucs, me and Adam with the Chiefs, this and that. And we could be obvious. Like I said, if I'm picking the Chiefs, I'll probably pick Pat Mahomes to win MVP. If Chad's picking the Bucs, you can probably pick Tom Brady. But let's just take quarterbacks out of this. Honestly, you may think, and we'll probably say quarterbacks don't win the MVP, but let's take quarterbacks out of this. Give me your one shot on the player that could be the MVP.
I'm going to go – I didn't even see him on this. I'm going to go a little bit ridiculous, but I don't know if it's that crazy. I think Tyrann Mathieu, Honey Badger, has a chance to make some plays. And who knows? I mean, Mahomes, I think, will throw a pick. Maybe 2. I don't know. So I think the Chiefs have a chance if they do win for someone else to get it. And we'll see the Honey Badger make a play or 2.
Yeah, that's funny. I was thinking defense too, but honestly, maybe picking the Chiefs. I was thinking defense. By the way, Adam, Tyrann Mathieu's 50-1. There is, counting the quarterbacks, there's 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. Really 8 actually players, because once it gets to 51, there's a few people tied with him there. So you got your 8 obviously all offensive guys with better odds than that. I don't hate it. I want to think defense, Tyrann Mathieu. If I'm picking the Chiefs, first guy that comes to mind. Chris Jones is second, but I'll be a little more boring with this because when it's all said and done, Jazz, you brought it up too, talking about the game. The Buccaneers maybe do have the linebackers that could cover him, but Travis Kelce has been having an unbelievable season as he always does. And, a couple touchdowns last week, and why not him get a couple more touchdowns this week in the Super Bowl? And he seems like a guy that really shatters some type of records. I don't know if a tight end's ever won Super Bowl MVP, but there's one that could do it. It's Travis Kelce.
I like it. I was thinking defense too, honestly, with Devin White, because with the Gronk. I mean, if he shuts down Gronk, but I'll go offensive here. I'll go Chris Godwin. Obviously, Brady loves him, and it's probably his last game as a Buck. So, what better way to go out than go into Super Bowl MVP for him?
Hey, you got that on the Super Bowl MVP, Brady.
Yeah,
why not go get Godwin one?
Yeah, Brady's slicing them up, man.
I don't hate Pierre-Paul on the defensive side, though, if I were to go a Tampa Bay defender, personally. but the odds are ridiculous. Le'Veon Bell's 150-1. You think the Chiefs might want to run the ball again, and Edwards-Helaire just doesn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, one thing you do have to say, I was thinking about this as you guys were talking about it. I mean, Brady Mahomes, I know that Mahomes is still very young, but like this has a chance to be the best quarterback against the second best quarterback ever when it's all said and done, in whatever order it is. Obviously, Brady probably first, but pretty awesome.
Yeah, we got to just take in the game Sunday. Just like realize what we're watching.
Yeah.
Like, just, I mean, like you said, it might be the best quarterback matchup like we ever see in the Super Bowl.
It very well could be, and luckily once the Chiefs won too, or whatever, we were in a spot where we were getting Mahomes and Brady or Mahomes and Rodgers, so
yeah,
kind of couldn't lose at that point. But before we go to real quick, we gotta do probably two of the most popular prop bets in the Super Bowl. That's a coin flip and Gatorade color, and I'm not at the X much. Not asking what team wins the coin flip, this and that. I just need heads or tails, and then a color. And we'll let it ride.
Tails never fails, and I'm sticking with orange because it's my favorite color Gatorade.
Like it. I'm gonna go heads because I always go heads, and I'm gonna go blue.
See, Chaz, we're gonna be a little bit similar because I was feeling blue. Talked about pre-show, so I'll go blue. But I'm with Adam. I'm definitely sticking with tails when it comes to the coin flip. All right, so there we go. We had a full season, boys. It went fucking incredibly quick. To be honest, I'm still shocked we actually did 23 episodes. It feels like fucking 15, but we got 23. Good luck on your bets, everyone. Adam, I'm really gonna be rooting for that knee. I might just drop a hammer on that. See what happens.
It ain't pretty, but winning is awesome. So
I mean, that was a surprise prop. I wasn't ready coming your way, and now you got it in my head. I'm like, why not?
A little sprinkle.
Yeah.
A little $180 to win 100.
Oh shit.
All right.
That's it for us.
That is it.